is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to One on One, a KC Sports Network podcast. I am your co-host, Mike DeVito, here with Jeff Stradamus. Listen, if you are a betting person out there, and especially if it has anything to do with Kansas City, you're putting money up, you got to check this man's Twitter first, because for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been watching him on Twitter. Jeff, you are on point every time, whether it's score, whether it's who's going to do bad, who's going to do good, who we're going to sign, who we're not going to sign. I don't know what. There's something else you got cooking up in those cookies over there, because
man, it gives you psychic abilities.
I must be. That's right. So make sure to get those from our sponsor, Cookie Society Cookies. Big Jeff, you guys are putting out all kinds of great cookies, and you got the swag now, right? You got merchandise.
We got the merch now. We got candles, cookies, tons of gifts for the holidays. Check us out, cookiesociety.com.
So now, do the candles smell like the cookies?
Yeah. So one of our candles is a brown butter vanilla. So it smells like one of our snickerdoodle cookies. We have a cinnamon-based cookie, old-fashioned cinnamon cookie.
Oh, God, I got to take a note. Every time I'm like, I got to put an order in, and then I forget. I'm taking a note right now.
Yeah. Big
Jeff. All right. Thank you to our sponsor, Cookie Society. Check them out, cookiesociety.com. Jeff, we got the W, man, and we're 2-0 now over the past 2 games. Yet people still aren't totally satisfied with where we're at, specifically with this game. You say, okay, you win. It was 13-7?
Yeah, 13-7.
So you win by 6 against a team who loses Aaron Rodgers, the week before the game. So, if Aaron Rodgers plays, this is the criticism, right? If Aaron Rodgers plays, Kansas City gets killed. Let's jump into it first. What do you make of that criticism where it's just like, look, you guys won, you just won against this young quarterback and, not having to play Aaron Rodgers.
It's human nature. I mean, that's what the internet's for. And that's why the media is here, and that you have to talk about it. But at the end of the day, a win's a win. We don't count style points.
Right.
We don't remember when we won the Super Bowl. We don't remember those scores. I mean, some people do, but ultimately you remember who won that Super Bowl, who was holding up the Lombardi. And that's the ultimate goal. Win enough games to get in the playoffs and make a run, and ultimately try to win a championship. So just continue to win. This is the first time we've won back-to-back games. We're in week 9.
Right.
That's crazy to think about, but just continue to stack them. No matter how we get it done, just get it done.
Yeah, no, it is. That is crazy to think of it like that. I think, we talk about momentum every week and how important momentum is, and how to start the season it was win, loss, or loss, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And now we got 2 going, even if they weren't the most pretty wins. We got 2 going in the right direction, and the defense has played really, really well over the past, definitely the past 2 weeks. Now, Jeff, we're going to talk about the offense and that stuff, but I think the defense playing well is going to lend itself to the offense starting up and playing well again. Because we saw what the offense was doing at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
This was still the same offense as putting up 40 points a game, but the defense is getting killed and you see things get out of whack. Now the defense is starting to calm down. So give me some of your thoughts. What did you see on Sunday from the defense? And do you see this progression continue in the right direction?
I definitely see it. I definitely see this as the new Chiefs defense.
Yeah,
the reason I say that, I know we didn't play Aaron Rodgers, and it was Daniel Jones the week before, but these are things that were fixed. You see Chris playing the 3 a little bit more.
You love it.
Frank Clark looks healthy, and he's getting after it. You got the addition of Melvin Ingram, bringing a little bit of juice. And the secondary, they're playing lights out. You Snead and Ward. Even if Rodgers played, they had good coverage all day on Adams. Right. That's right now the number 1 receiver in the NFL. That's a tough cover, and they did an excellent job. We got pressure. Tyrann Mathieu all over the field, and they had energy, which is good to see. So hopefully they keep that energy, and they can kind of rub off on the offense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I listened to Frank Clark speak. I don't know. I think it was right after the game, and he talked about we're having fun. And as a defensive player, that is the number 1 criteria. If you're having fun, forget it. On defense, Jeff, how technical offense is. There's everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be done correctly. Everybody has to be in sync. On defense, sometimes you can get away with just going out there and letting it rip and going outlaw and having a blast. doing it. And so when I see those guys dancing on the sidelines and smiling and laughing and celebrating, and when Frank Clark says, listen, we're out there and we're just letting it rip and we're having fun, we're enjoying it, that's when I know, okay, that is what when I say momentum going in the right direction, when your defense is out there having fun, oh man, I've been a part of those defenses. And I know the contrast of being on a defense that's playing tight and isn't out there relaxing and is so worried about making mistakes. And on the flip side, being out there with a team, with a defense that's just like, let's go. Let's get after it.
I think they're playing, they're having fun, and they're playing angry. I think they're tired of hearing all that trash about them. Yeah. They're tired of being second fiddle and hearing that this team only goes if the offense goes. So they're taking responsibility right now. And truthfully, they've won the last 2 weeks for us. So if we can keep that same energy, that same production on the defensive side of the ball, Spags keeps putting together these game plans, and the offense wakes up and do what they're doing the first 4 or 5 weeks of the year.
Right.
I mean, this team is right back where we thought they were going to be. And, I mean, even with the record right now, the AFC is wide open.
Wide open.
Wide open. So, I mean, there's a ton to be happy about right now, and to be, for the taking.
Optimistic. Definitely optimistic. Talk to me about what it's like from an offensive line perspective and a protection perspective when you have Frank Clark and Chris Jones and they're both happy and you have them on the ends, on the edges rushing. Obviously, that's difficult. But now when you bring Chris Jones down into play 3 technique, next to him, Frank Clark, and then Ingram on the other side. Now that seems like a much better formula for success. Is it how much more difficult is it to pass protect a defense with those 3 guys, especially with Jones in the middle, compared to just Jones and Chris on the outsides?
It's tough because when Chris was outside, Chris Jones, he isn't a speed rusher.
Yeah, no.
He looks like a speed rusher inside because he's inside and you get to the quarterback faster that way. On the outside, he's a power guy. He isn't going to beat you with speed. He's not going to threaten a tackle.
Right.
But when you put him inside, and then you have a guy like Frank Clark that's healthy, that's getting off the ball, and Melvin Ingram, and they're getting up the field and meeting at the quarterback and forcing the quarterback to step up. But wait, he can't step up because Chris Jones just wrecked the middle of the pocket. That makes it hard. Now your whole game plan changes. Now you can't drop back. It's all 3-step, get rid of the ball. And now the DBs can play a little bit more aggressive because they know the pass rush is getting home, and it all marries up. It makes everyone's job easier, and we're seeing that. We saw the defensive backs getting their hands on these receivers, having confidence, knowing that the pass rush is going to get home and the ball is going to get out. We're not going to cover these guys forever, and it's just going to make us better as a defense.
Yeah, that's a great point about Chris too. I didn't even think about that, but you can, as a defensive lineman, you could have great get off. You can have a great move. You can hit perfectly. You can get your hips through. You can get skinny. But if you're out there on the edge and you can't do that, I'm talking lickety split. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're perfect with it. And I mean, we saw Chris hit those Reggie White hump moves. We see he has the he has the ability in those respects to do it. But you're right. There's something different. Because out there, you got to get there fast.
And I still think he's a good defensive end. I mean, that's how great of a player he is. But from a personnel standpoint, and what makes this defense better is having those guys with a little bit more speed and using his ability inside, to just wreck the entire game. And he's not always going to get the sack.
Right.
But the pressure and his presence in there, it just changes the entire landscape of the defense. So I think this is the right move. Unfortunately, this couldn't have been done earlier. Spags is starting to figure the defense out, move some guys around, and I think they're just bringing it all together. I don't think this is a fluke. I don't think this is something that's just a 2-week deal. I think this is something that will continue. And they're seeing some good quarterbacks, so we'll know. Derek Carr got Dak Prescott after that, so we'll know soon.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm trying to think of it from a schematic point of view. So let's say you're playing guard, and you got that right tackle. And the difference between, say, me at 3 technique and Chris Jones out there at end, right? So if you got that, you're going to slide. You say you slide the protection to Chris.
Yeah.
You're going to help the center with me, but you're going to be focused way more on Chris than worried anything about what I'm doing. But now you put Chris Jones in that 3 technique and Frank Clark on the outside, and now you got a problem because you can't just leave a hand out there and let the center try to overtake Chris Jones. That ain't gonna work. So it's like now you either have to commit somebody else to help that right tackle, or somebody's getting the one-on-one. And you don't want anybody in that group. You don't want anybody with that one-on-one.
Exactly. So now that, like you said, that creates – you have to make decisions as an offensive coordinator.
Right.
Are you going to keep that running back in to chip the defensive end? That's one less guy out on the route.
Right.
You're not able to do as much empty, and that just changes the whole game plan, and that makes the defensive back's job easier. Yeah. Now you're not having to play as much dime and nickel. Right. You're able to get there with 4 guys. When you can get there with 4 guys and drop 7, like
that's how you
look. Like it doesn't matter who you're playing. That's a recipe for a great defense, and they're doing that right now. The production with the pressures, the sacks, all of that, they're playing to run well right now, and I think they will continue this.
Yeah, and one more point before I get on to our offense, and I tweeted this out, and I think it's important to note because I do get the criticism that this wasn't Aaron Rodgers, this was Love.
Yeah, I get it.
But at the same time, from a defensive point of view, especially schematically, when you're trying to build a game plan, and now these coaches, all the way up until the week before, they've prepared for Green Bay. I mean, they haven't been all in as they are that week, but I mean, they've been thinking about Green Bay since the offseason. And you're thinking about playing against Aaron Rodgers and what that offense looks like. Now, all of a sudden, it's Monday, and you have a new quarterback that you really don't have game film on. So you're going in there as a defense, and it's really hard to say this is what they're going to do, right? I mean, you have no idea what they're doing.
It's tough. I mean, because it's a wild card. You have nothing. So sometimes that could be more dangerous than facing the starter.
Exactly.
But Aaron Rodgers is a special Hall of Fame type quarterback. So he definitely would have made a difference. But from my perspective, when I was looking at the game, I kind of thought that, but guys weren't open.
Yeah.
Guys weren't open. Guys were getting pressure.
That's good.
Guys weren't missing assignments. Guys were making tackles.
Yeah. That's a good point.
They were playing good, sound defense. And it doesn't matter who the quarterback is when you're doing that. Like, I know Aaron would have figured some things out, and it may have been a closer game, but they were playing good, sound defense. And to hold a team to 7, I don't care who the quarterback is. That's tough to do, especially with some of the weapons they have. Aaron Jones, what did he do? He's a Pro Bowl running back. Yeah. What did Devontae Adams do? He's a Pro Bowl receiver, one of the best receivers in the league. Right. What did those guys do? I know the quarterback makes the difference, but those guys recovered, did a good job in the run game. They did everything the right way.
Exactly.
And that's encouraging.
Yeah. So it's not I'm glad you brought that up because it's not as big of a difference as you think. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame quarterback, is going to make a difference. Yeah. Right. When you look at how the game played out, everything was played well on defense. And if there's nobody to throw the ball to, there's nobody to throw the ball to.
If Jordan Love was out there missing a ton of open receivers.
Right. Exactly.
And coach was calling a great game. And I'm like, you know what? Aaron would have made that throw.
Yeah.
Aaron would have made something happen right there. Yeah. But I was really looking at each play like, there's nothing there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you didn't see a lot of that. No, that's a really good point, Jeff. Let's get on to the offense. But before we do, I got to shout out my friends at Ticket for Less. Listen, if you're looking to score an unbeatable deal on Chiefs tickets, you got to check out my friends at Tickets for Less because they have got you covered. Locally owned for more than 17 years, ticketsforless.com has the best selection of Chief tickets for every game, all without the outrageous taxes or per-ticket service fees you find on other sites. Plus, you can use our exclusive KCSN promo code from Tickets for Less to save even more. Use code KCSN21 at checkout to save big on any Chiefs order at ticketsforless.com. That's KCSN21. All right, Big Jeff, let's talk about the offense now. So we're still sputtering a little bit. We're still struggling a little bit. If this is any other of the 31 teams in the NFL, you might say, hey, it's not bad. With the Chiefs, they've set the bar so high that when you see 2 performances like this, I mean, it's gone, into the Titans game and things like that. It's still a cause for concern. And so give me the breakdown, brother. What did you see on offense?
I'll start with the good because there was a little bit of good in there.
Yeah.
The O-line played well. Orlando Brown looked great.
Good.
He looked really good. I think that we didn't turn the ball over. That was the difference in the game. We didn't turn the ball over. We won the turnover battle. That was huge. because if we turn the ball over, we may lose that game.
Yeah, exactly.
You give an extra possession, you may not score the 13 points.
Right.
You never know. And that first drive should be what every drive looks like.
Right.
We came in with 7. We were patient. We took the underneath routes, and we got to the red zone. We punched it in. I think that was good. But outside of that, it was a struggle the rest of the night. It was really inconsistent. And I think the inconsistency started with drop passes. That kills momentum. That kills drives when a guy drops a pass, especially on the third down. Like you can extend the drive and kind of get that rhythm and keep it going. But we were dropping passes. Guys weren't really that open. Pat missed a few throws. It's just a weird time right now. It's things that you don't typically see, and I know we're going to figure it out. I don't think we're going to figure it out, and that's the encouraging part with the defense and what they're doing. Continue to do what they do. I'll put all my money on this offense figuring it out.
Yeah. You know what I thought was really interesting that Andy Reid said in his press conference? You could speak on this. I didn't realize this was the case, but he said, one of the reporters had brought up that, there was one play where Harbin went deep and he was covered, but, it was one-on-one and Pat went to try to go deep for him. But when you look at it, Kelsey was open, on a shallower route. And the reporter said, well, Andy, do you talk to Pat and say, hey, you should have thrown to Travis on this? And he said, look, when we go into a game, we have about 4 or 5 calls that I give Pat the okay to say, listen, if you got the deep ball, even if you got a one-on-one shot and you think you can throw it up, go for it. And I'm not worried if, what's going on anywhere else. If you got the one-on-one, you think you got to go for it. And I was like, that puts a spin on the way you look at it. Because when you look at it from the TV, you say, wow, Pat is missing these open guys, these obviously open guys. And then you listen to Pat in the press conference. He said, no, I saw Travis, but I thought Harmon was the better option. And then when you hear Andy Reid breaking it down and saying, look, if you got Harmon one-on-one, go for it. I like that shot. And I guess I just didn't realize that. I thought you always would go for the open guy, but there are sometimes you just take that shot.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously when we wouldn't be talking about this if that was a touchdown. But in years past, there has been a touchdown. Yeah. And that's Pat's mentality. That's what makes him so great. That's how you throw for so many yards and so many touchdowns is you take those shots. Right. But in that case, I would have probably took Travis. Saw 2 deep safeties back there. But he believes in himself.
Really?
He believes in himself that much. And that's what makes him great. And if I'm Coach Reid, I'm not saying anything to him. I'm going to continue to let Pat be Pat, and I'm going to let him figure it out because he's earned that. He's earned that right.
That's
great. He gives us that confidence. He's in a slump right now. It's like a pitcher. I mean, sometimes you go into these slumps, and we're fortunate enough to not have to see this until now.
Right.
I mean, it hasn't been long. It's been, 3 weeks.
Right.
So he's gonna figure it out. He's gonna continue to be who he is, and he's gonna play well. The things are gonna turn and start going his way. So I'm not really worried about that. I think he's going to make the right decision because Patrick is Patrick.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that decision right there, but I'm not Patrick Mahomes. That's why I'm not worth $500 million,
Well, it's a great point. You said he's earned that. And I having played Peyton Manning and Tom Brady more times than I wish I would have, I've studied them and watched them go through slumps too. I mean, there have been a lot of times I thought, we're going to kill these guys. Brady's not the same guy, or Manning's not the same guy, and then obviously they snap out of it. So all of the best go through this sometimes, and you can attribute some of it, if not the majority of it, to the fact that I think he felt like when the defense is getting killed every game, he felt like he had to take more on than usual. And so now with that calming down, I could see the ripple effect that having in the locker room, especially with Pat. So that's a really good point. You talked about the offensive line, protection looked good, run game looked good. How'd our young buck at right guard look?
Like a beast. I mean, every single game he has a highlight block. And then, Creed looks great. He looks great.
Yeah, he's incredible, man.
He's incredible.
Mid-season All-Pro.
I mean, you got Joe over there at left guard. He's everything that we thought he'd be.
Yeah.
I think he may be All-Pro as well.
Yeah.
Orlando Brown had his best game of the year this past weekend. We lost Nang, which is a tough blow, but we got Kyle Long scheduled to come back.
Yeah.
So maybe he goes to right tackle. We'll see what happens there. I know Remmers is still down right now, but the O-line looked good. I think we could have been a little bit more efficient running the ball.
Right.
There were some opportunities there, but we didn't capitalize on them. But we didn't run the ball very, very much.
Right.
The running game is, it's you pound guys, and then you pop, some big ones here and there, and that's how it goes. You wear them down, but we're just not running it enough to kind of see that.
Right.
So early, if we're not efficient early, then the end of the day, it's not going to look very good.
Now, as an offensive lineman, this is interesting. Coach Reed is the type of guy you could go to.
Yeah.
Say, hey, we got to run the football more, and that opens. Everybody knows that opens up everything. But that's a criticism I did see sort of across the board on the social medias and
yeah, you can definitely go to him. But here's the deal: when you go to him, you better make it work. You better make it goddamn work.
Right.
He's going to trust you, and to give him confidence when he calls those runs, they better be efficient. Right. So I get the criticism, before this past week because we were efficient. We were running the ball really well. We just didn't run it very much. But this past week, I don't know what we were averaging a carry, but it didn't seem like we were doing very well in the run game. I know they were getting movement, but we weren't getting very many yards. I think we averaged it was like under 3 yards a carry. That's not a win.
Yeah.
So we want to be averaging at least 4 yards a carry. That's an efficient run, and that's something that you can be confident in. And if we continue to do that, hell, I'm going to the sideline. Like, we're killing them, coach. Like, let's call a few more. Like, we're ready to go. So if they give them confidence, I don't see any reason for them not to be able to go to them and say, let's call a few more runs.
Yeah. And I like you brought up the fact that Kyle Long's coming back. I played against Kyle when I was in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And there's one play that really sticks out in my mind, him playing that right tackle position. And I was a 3 technique over the guard. And I was always really good at not getting misplaced. Right. Yeah. So if my guard took off fast, I was able to stay square, stay with them, post up on the backside, and stay in that B gap. Right. So I'm playing that 3 technique. Chris Long was one of those guys that on a double team, he's bringing the funk. He has that big guy feel where he can get you and misplace you quick. At the same time, I remember on this play, they had run like a fast zone to the opposite side of where I was going. And he was able to get in front of me. And I can't think of anybody who's been, and I could read the guard quick. As soon as that guard took off, right, I was flat, hand on the guard and hand back trying to play Chris. And somehow he was so athletic and so quick that he was able to misplace me. Like, thank God the ball stayed front side, because if it would have cut back, it would have went for a million, because I was misplaced. I just remember thinking, I even talked to him after play, like, damn, how did you do that? How the hell did you? Nobody's ever done that, So he has a great sort of 1-2 punch where he can get heavy, get physical, knock you out of there, be the kind of, the mauler, but also has these sort of sweet feet, these light feet. Just like, man.
Yeah, Chris Long's brother is definitely an athlete. You call him Chris a few times.
Oh, what was I saying?
You called him Chris a few times, yeah.
Kyle Long, man. Chris Long is good too.
I was really excited when we got him in the offseason because I know what type of player he is.
Yeah.
So Coach Reed's always been along the lines of playing the best 5 guys. Yeah. And I think he's one of those guys. He's we got the rookie, Trey in there. We got Creed. We got Joe on the inside, and they're holding it down. I don't think we should change that at all.
Right.
But if there's an opportunity on that offensive line, it's at right tackle right now. And I think you just put him in there. And I don't think he's going to give it back because I know what type of player he is. No. I know tenacity he plays with, what he brings, the energy, the leadership.
The leadership, too.
He's only going to make this line better. That's already good. So it's going to be a good addition. We're not talking about it enough about how big of a piece this is. That's why they've kept him on the roster, because they know what he brings to this team.
Yeah.
And I think it's only going to be good things. So I'm excited to see, this number 69 on the field.
Yeah. And he's fresh too, baby.
Yeah, he's fresh.
Like, he took the last year off, right? This is his
fresh.
First.
He's fresh. I forgot about that. So this is going to be, he might have to knock some rust off because missing a full year and then getting hurt and missing half the season, that's going to be tough. But if anybody can do it, Kyle can do it.
Yeah. Kyle Long, I'm glad he's back. Okay, couple more things. So that was the game. We're moving on. I'm going to mispronounce it or missay it, but I'm going to missay it on purpose. We got the Oakland Raiders coming up this week.
Yeah.
They don't deserve to
Raider
be
week.
called. I mean, it's Oakland.
Yeah,
You're
it's the Oakland Raiders playing in Las Vegas. That's
Come
all
on
it is.
now.
Nothing
Oh,
changed.
that's it. But obviously a bigger test in the past 2 weeks. OBJ, you brought it up at the beginning. He's on the market. What do you think, Jeff Stradamus? Do we nail that free agent?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm sad to report before the reports come out that OBJ will not be a Chief. I wish he was a Chief.
Right.
I hope I'm wrong, but that's not likely. So
he gets through waivers.
He gets through waivers.
Pick whatever team he
He
wants.
can pick wherever he wants to go, and it's not going to be Kansas City because he wants the ball. That was the issue in Cleveland. He didn't feel like he was getting the ball enough. He had a little disgruntled relationship with Baker, I guess, because when he was getting targets, they weren't good balls in his opinion. So he wants to go somewhere, where he's going to be the guy. Right. Kansas City is probably going to be the third option.
Yeah.
This is probably Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and then it'd probably be OBJ.
Right.
So it's going to have to be a situation where he's the guy and then where's a good quarterback. So I can see it being possibly Green Bay. I know they have Devontae, but outside of that, they lost their tight end, Tunyon, and they don't really have a solidified number 2. I mean, they kind of like rotate that guy as far as targets. So he could be the bona fide number 2, and with the way they throw the ball, he'd get just as many targets as a number 1. And then possibly the Oakland Raiders, a.k.a. the Oakland team that plays in Vegas. I think he would be the bona fide number 1 guy there, at least number 1 receiver. They have Waller still, and they have a good quarterback. I know as much as we hate him, I hate him. I do. But Derek Carr is a top 10 quarterback. They got a solid team. They're going through a bunch of stuff right now, but he would be a good addition for him.
They are going through a bunch of stuff too. Jeez, I'm crow. Talk about Raiders week, because this, I went from playing with the Jets and playing New England twice a year, and that was incredibly, that week you're playing New England. I mean, if you went 2-14, but you beat New England twice, that was a good season. Yeah. And it's very similar in Kansas City with the Raiders. I mean, this rivalry has history.
It's a fun week, to be honest. You embrace the hate because we hate each other. Right. And I think that the thing with the Raiders is the tradition behind it. And as much as you don't like the players, you hate the fans just as much. It's just you're pulling into the stadium back when we were going to Oakland, and you're pulling up to the Coliseum, and you're getting a double bird from fans. Their kids giving you a double bird. Everyone's saying F you and I hate you. People throwing drinks at you. I never let my family come to those games because I knew nothing's good going to come from this.
No.
But it was just a fun atmosphere. I would be on the bench, and sometimes I would turn around and just start talking trash to fans.
Yeah.
Especially when we were up big. I remember playing. What year was that? I think that was 2015.
Oh yeah, maybe
the year Jamal scored 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
We ran the exact same play on all those touchdowns, except for one. On 4 of those touchdowns.
Yeah, I remember.
It was a screen play.
Yeah.
And I was literally telling the defensive lineman, hey, we're running that screen. We're running a screen. And they didn't believe me. And we crushed them. On one of those, I got down the field, knocked 2 guys down. Jamal scored a 70-yard wheel route touchdown. He's dancing in the end zone. There's a great picture. You can probably look it up online. While he's dancing, about 7 people threw drinks on him.
Yeah.
You see beer everywhere. So,
epic.
I mean, as much as we hate each other, I mean, it's fun, man. I love it. I miss that rivalry, and I'm looking forward to see, the Chiefs go to Vegas and get one.
Yeah. I wonder, is the fan base in Vegas
No, it's not the same. It's not going to be the same from the fans' perspective. That's more of I'm looking at those games. You see DJs in the end zone, people having pool parties. No one's really watching the game. It's just a big party. It's just a part of the show. It's just another show in Vegas.
That's right.
Not the same atmosphere. In Oakland, those fans were into the game. They hated us just as much as the players hated us. And that's what made it fun. That's the passion that you like in competition.
Right. Honestly, it's really going into a first-century Coliseum.
Yeah. You really feel like you're going to war. It's one of those things where no matter what our records are, no matter who's number 1 in the division, then we could be first place, they can be last. It doesn't matter. You're going to get a good game. It's going to be physical.
Right.
Guys are going to lay it out there, and I don't know why, but that's just how it is.
Yeah. I remember in Oakland too, you would smell the weed right.
Oh yeah.
And I'm talking about, I would be sitting there, and this was every time. I'd be like, we're going to get high over here, sitting on this bench. How much weed are they smoking? It just stunk of weed.
As soon as you pull up to the stadium, you smell it.
Oh,
you know what else you smelled? We can talk about this because fans don't know this. That locker room fucking sucked.
Ooh, it was awful.
It was awful. There was leaks in the ceiling.
Terrible.
It was right. I promise you, we were right below a concession stand because all I smelled was old grease.
Yeah.
And I felt nauseous the entire time. I couldn't wait to get out to go play because the locker room was it was small. Everyone shared a locker. The training room looked like a closet.
Terrible.
I think I saw rats one time running around. I'm just like, this is disgusting.
Terrible.
And they just threw us in there. And I know they did it on purpose. I don't think they did it on purpose. And that's a part of not caring about, the opposing team. And the field sucked.
Oh,
it sucked. I mean, it's a baseball field.
Anytime you played a team that had the infield, I just couldn't believe that was an element that we had to deal with. I remember thinking like there's no way to cover up this infield with some grass. Like this was just, I couldn't stand that. Miami had the same thing. Miami used to have the stinking infield. Oakland had it. Those are just the worst. That was absolutely terrible.
Thankfully, we were able to get some big wins against them and feel good about it.
Yeah, I love beating the Raiders. Even when I was a Jet, I loved beating the Raiders.
Yeah.
So we got to get this
sweet jerseys, though. That's the only good thing about them. Other than that, I have nothing nice to say about them.
The Oakland Raiders playing in Vegas. All right, before we close, Jeff, one thing that we've seen a lot of that's sort of hype on the social medias and TV and all that stuff is the taunting this year and the emphasis from the refs to call penalties on taunting. And it's been just absurd. And we saw the ref go out of his way to bump the guy from Chicago. I mean, it seems so silly. And so before I even go on a rant, I want to get your thoughts. What do you think of
I don't know why this is even a rule. I know they proposed it and they put it through. And I think the reasoning behind it was to limit conversations, guys celebrating and then, usually after, there's a fight or something. Well, that doesn't happen very often.
No.
So I don't know why that was even proposed. It's not like that was ever an issue. Like you have it every once in a while, but that's a part of the game. It happens.
Oh, that's what it is.
It happens. Okay, celebrating. You're taking the fun out of the game.
Right.
The NFL is the not fun league now.
Yeah.
You're not allowing guys to play with passion. These guys, we work so damn hard. Like as offensive linemen, we didn't celebrate very much, but I know how hard it is to get a sack.
Right.
I know how hard that is. There's a reason why everyone doesn't have double-digit sacks every year because it's hard to get a sack. So when a guy makes it home, like let him celebrate. It sucks on my end because I'm watching you celebrate after you, but like let him celebrate. He earned that. Let a guy celebrate after a touchdown. Let a guy, throw a first down. Like it's entertainment.
Right.
That's why we watch the game. It's entertainment. That's why fans watch the game. And the fans that don't like it, I don't care.
Right.
Like we work our asses off. Let guys celebrate. It's not taken away from the game. It's only adding to it. It's a passionate sport. It's a passionate game, and guys deserve to be able to celebrate as long as it's not hurting anybody. As long as they're not doing any gestures that are wrong gestures that kids can see and stuff like that. Let them celebrate. Let them have fun and enjoy it.
It's what makes the game. The game is fun. I mean, this game is that's what attracted me to the game. Right? It's a violent game. And you get on that field and the rules don't apply here, right? That's what makes this game so beautiful. It's like out in the world, you can't hit people. You can't get in people's faces. You can't get violent. You can't get scrappy. Got it. When you cross over those lines and now you're on that NFL field, now it's whatever, anything goes. Like, let's get it. That's what makes the game beautiful. And it's like to take that away. I mean, what are we doing? It not only does it make the game suck to watch on TV with all the penalties and all that crap, but it's not NFL football anymore. There's an aspect of this game that's supposed to be just let loose, right? I mean, that's the beauty of the NFL. It's a violent, nasty game. And that's why we enjoy playing it. That's why people enjoy watching it. If you take that out, you're taking the heart right out of it. I mean,
They've created, first off, they're party poopers.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're party poopers. Like this is terrible for the game. But they've created a bigger distraction than the celebration itself.
Right, exactly.
It was never a distraction, but they've actually created distraction by having this rule. And last night, Monday Night Football, we actually saw it possibly cost the team a game.
Yeah.
Because a guy celebrated and they didn't like it. And then the damn ref ended up hip checking the guy, which made no sense.
I
don't know what's going on. It feels like a personal attack on guys. But it's not good. I mean, I don't get it. I know some people don't agree with it. I know some people think that this is right for the game, but this is the National Football League. This ain't goddamn baseball or whatever.
No, this is the NFL.
It's been a part of the game, and it should be a part of the game.
That's right. Watch the game for the past however many years. This is part of the game. You know, I always used to love Mike Westhoff, our special teams coordinator, was with the Jets. He would tell the refs, "Hey, all these people aren't watching this game to watch you, right?
Yeah.
They came here to watch the guys play." So, like, I hate it when these refs, like that guy, throwing a hip check, like, this ain't about you, man. They're not here. You just keep us, keep everything in check. But you clearly think that we came here to see you. Like this ain't about you, right? Just focus on the game. Drives me nuts, Big Jeff. But that stuff's over. Hopefully they'll change that. The NFL. We're on to Oakland, who plays in Vegas. We're gonna get this win, Jeff. Talk about it next week, brother. Thank you for coming on the show again. You're a host. I don't know why I say that every week. Coming on the show, you're the host.
Listen, man, I'm the goddamn host, man.
You're the host, man.
I'm the host. I'm here to stay. Trying to replace me already. Beat goddamn Oakland. Let's go.
That's it. Switch. Get DeVito out of here, man.
Beat Oakland. They're playing Vegas. Beat Oakland.
I'm going to be on the Oakland one-on-one. Oh, man. Chiefs Kingdom, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Hopefully after another W. Go Chiefs. Big Jeff. See you next week, brother.
See you next week. Go Chiefs.